Hey YouTubers, this is Rob Moffat. I'm going to do a quick video today on elderberry syrup. There's other elderberry syrup videos on YouTube, but I'm going to do mine a little bit differently. I don't like to duplicate what other people have done. I've measured out a half a cup of the elderberry that are dried that I purchased online from Amazon, and I'm going to use 2 cups of water, and I'm going to boil it, and then I'm going to let it sit for about an hour. Then I'm going to stir it up with a blender to break it little pieces. I'm going to strain it out, and then what's left over I'm going to boil again with 1 cup of water, and then I'm going to strain it again, and then the liquid that's left from seeping with the dried elderberries is going to be measured, and I'm going to add equal amounts of sugar to whatever I measure with the water, and I'm going to put it on the stove and then use a syrup thermometer to get it down to not quite thick like a syrup, but more like a thick sauce. So let's get started. Here's the dried elderberries, and we've got our 2 cups of water, and now we're just going to set that, let it boil, and then turn it off, let it sit for a while. While that's boiling, I want to tell you, I got this on Amazon. It was £1, and if you don't have any place to grow your own elderberries, it's a good place to get your elderberries. I'm kind of upset with myself. So many places I've lived in the past where I could have grown elderberries. In fact, they grew wild in many places I lived at, and I never utilized them. And now that I've learned about how interesting they are to use, I'm kind of amazed more people don't use them. You can use these berries to make jelly and jam. You can make pies. You can make elderberry syrup. You can make elderberry wine. However, what I'm using it for is it's a very good thing to use for colds and flus. It helps eliminate or reduce the effects of colds and flus if you do get them. So it tastes pretty good. So if you don't have elderberries growing and they grow in your area, I'm kind of surprised. You want to look into it. And if you don't or can't grow them, and if you want to buy the berries, at the bottom of this video I'm going to have a link to Amazon where you can find different people selling them, and you can read the reviews from the customers who bought them to check it and see what you think about buying from those people. I like Amazon. You can see what people have bought and what they like or don't like about it. It's a good place to get information before you spend your money. So that's it for now. Okay everybody, it's boiling, and I'm going to let it sit here and simmer and get all those juices going. Can't find my lid. And when that cools down, I'm going to strain it, and we're going to take the stuff we strained out and boil again with 1 cup of water. Hey YouTubers, it hasn't been an hour. It's really only been about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. This is still pretty hot, but I'm going to go ahead and strain it out. If you're part German like I am, probably some of my ancestors, you could take a blender and stir this up and get it all broken down into little pieces. But if some of your ancestors were also like mine, Scottish and Irish and French Canadian, you're like, why are we doing the second step anyway? What we're going to do now is we're going to strain this and then put that we strained out back in with 1 cup of water and boil it again. These plump up pretty good. They don't come back to the original size, but pretty close. If you do blend it, it breaks it down, and it actually makes it hard to strain. It kind of clogs up, and you also end up with more sediment in your syrup. So ordinarily you'd not use this for syrup anymore, but we're going to put another cup back in. Alrighty. We used 2 cups the first time, and since I splashed a little bit, a tiny bit less than 1 cup the second time. And we're going to boil that and get some more goodies. If you don't want to use a blender, you can also use your potato masher. Oh yeah. You knew I had to do this. I had to grind it up. I couldn't leave it alone. There we go. Okay everybody, we set that to boiling and we just took it off just long enough for it to start boiling. We got the potato masher working. That was the second cup. Put our improvised lid there and we're going to let that cool down, then we're going to measure it. Okay everybody, let's strain this liquid out. It's been sitting for a while. This is the 1 cup of water we added with the earlier amount of elderberries that had been strained out from when we had 2 cups of water. And look how much juice we're getting off. That's amazing. This is actually draining a lot better than I've done it in the past. In the past I used a blender and I macerated all the berries and they were so fine they clogged up the screen. I think this way is better. Now we're going to let that sit for a couple of minutes and then we're going to measure the liquid, and whatever amount we have we're going to add an equal amount of sugar and make our syrup. Guys, while that's draining, this is what got me interested in elderberry to begin with. This is a syrup that's sold on Amazon. It's called Sambucus. It's by Nature's Way. This is a syrup that you can make. This is a syrup you can buy. This is a lot cheaper. But the reason I'm telling you about this, you can go on Amazon and check out the reviews of people who have used this material, this elderberry syrup, to help them with their colds and flus. Also, there's literature on the company's site where they've done tests in the laboratory to prove that this is an effective treatment for colds and flu. It's supposed to be as good as Tamiflu. And it's something you can grow and make yourself. Like I said, I wasn't too interested at first because the study was done by the company, but I found out later there were other studies done in different parts of Europe that agreed with the studies that was done by this company. So I'm going to have a link to this material. You can go on Amazon and read the reviews of this material. And maybe it'll convince you to make your own syrup for health reasons. But it's also good for other things besides health reasons. It's delicious on ice cream, anything you use a sauce or a syrup. I like adding it in my iced tea. I don't make a real thick syrup, so if I add sugar to my iced tea, I don't add as much sugar and I just add some syrup. It's delicious. It has a nice flavor and it's also sweet when we add sugar. Okay everybody, I think that's strained enough. We're going to measure out the liquid. So we will use 3 cups of water, 2 cups the first time and 1 cup the second time. Whoa, 2 cups. Oh. Actually, there's just a tiny bit. So I'm going to say 2 cups, just a hair over 2 cups. So now I'm going to add 2 cups of sugar. Okay, so I'm going to set this and get it to boiling, then I'm going to add the sugar and start the syrup. Okay everybody, we're going to heat it up until it gets around 200, 220. If it goes to 230, it'll be syrup. I don't want it to be that thick. I'm going to have it a little less thick, be more like a sauce. Okay everybody, I boiled the juice to about 225 degrees Fahrenheit, It's not quite 230 where you get a syrup, but it's thick enough for me. It's going to be more like a thick sauce. Let's measure and see how much we're left with, because we had 2 cups of liquid. That doesn't make much sense. That's about what I started with. It's been boiling for 10 minutes. Well, I know things heat and they expand, but I didn't think it'd heat that much. Well, I forgot the sugar, of course. I added 2 cups of sugar. Okay, I feel better now. Okay, there's 2 cups. There we go. Two cups. And there's a tiny bit left. About the same amount of liquid as we started with, not counting the sugar. Okay, 2 cups and 16th. Well, that's going to be my elderberry juice, guys. My elderberry syrup, although it's going to be more like a sauce. So thanks for watching, everybody. This is something, like I said, it's really good on ice cream or in your iced tea or anything you'd use a sweetener. It has a wonderful berry taste, and it's something that's helpful for you. It's good for your health if you have cold or flu. I hope you look into this, and it's something you can grow and make yourself. Thanks, everybody.